It was the man who will control the purse strings, the Finance Minister, Sammy Wilson. He's been warning executive colleagues not to delay in an agreed budget, or it could have a knock-on effect. Here he is, answering a question on the Presbyterian Mutual Society.
So we're working towards resolving all of the issues for the 2011 and 2012 budget. But of course, and I would remind members that any delay in the establishing the budget and agreeing the budget will also have a knock-on impact on the PMS solution.
Story for supplementary. Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. And I do thank the Minister for his answer to an issue which has been of grave concern to a considerable number of people in Northern Ireland. One of the outstanding matters is with regards particularly to small investors. And would the Minister outline for us today what further steps could be taken to ensure that small investors receive 100% of their monies back?
Well, the focus of a lot of the Assembly attention has been on the small investors who make up about 66% of those who have money in the PMS. And whilst we want to try and ensure that as much money goes back as quickly as possible to all investors, nevertheless, I think that most of those who have raised the issue in the Assembly have been very concerned about these small investors. What can be done to ensure that the small investors get all of their money back as quickly as possible? Well, obviously, the bigger the fund, the bigger the mutual access fund, then the more money there will be available to give to small investors. The government at Westminster has put up £25 million. The Executive has committed £25 million. The Church has committed £1 million. And obviously, if the Church can provide additional funds to increase that mutual access fund, then there will be the ability to give much greater sums of money back to the small investors.
So, when will the crucial budget be agreed? Not nearly as soon as Minister Wilson would like.
Can I just say that as far as the budget paper for the Executive is concerned, I made it quite clear that the end of this process I would have liked to have seen by January, the beginning of January of 2011. It was my intention to have had a paper with the Executive by now. That has not been possible. The Executive have asked, despite the fact that there were extensive talks over the summer, and I had made myself available for talks over the summer, the Executive members have asked for some extra time to discuss some of the strategic issues and also to talk to me about departmental issues. There has been a paper prepared for the Executive Budget Review Group, which they have now had sight of, and I would hope that that would get approval by the Executive Budget Review Group, or at least get some amendments made to it to get it to the Executive, so that I'll be able to have Executive approval by the 17th of February and then bring the draft budget to the Assembly on the 18th of November. And that would mean that the process would finish by about the middle of February. Still very, very tight, I've got to say. But that's the kind of timetable, revised timetable, which we're now working towards.
Sinn Féin's John O'Dowd managed to annoy the Minister by suggesting it would be better for the Executive to take its time rather than rush into any decisions.
But, you know, if by the question the member is trying to justify further procrastination, further delay and further unwillingness to make the tough decisions that are going to have to be made, and let's face it, and nobody's going to like some of the decisions that are going to have to be made in this budget. Nobody's going to like it, but we're not going to have money falling from heaven, whether we would wish it or not, and therefore we have got to get down and seriously get a budget in place which at least we can debate and we can have discussion about and people can see the implications of.